Maswahla mahle sesinaye ke ummeli wabo bahlonishwa lo nguye Mr Mngomedulu. Athi sitshela kabanti ke ukuthi ingabe lamhla khambe njani enkantolo naletinye ke tindzaba etiphethelene naso ke simo even. Mr Mngomedulu sikhona la kaSwaziland Democratic News. Ingabe vele Mr Mngomedulu kuhambe njani enkantolo lamuhla?
Siyabonga kakhulu Khabako nelithimba labanye lamanye ama journalists angisho njalo. La khona la sibonge kakhulu nje kini Swaziland Democratic News, Swaziland News nalabanye labakhona kulama online platforms. So we just want to appreciate really lo msebenzi lenwendako ningawendela ithina nabahlonishwa nibe nwendela eMaswati to keep them updated about the happenings even labo labalithandzako. Sibonga ke Maswati lamahle siphinde nisiniketele lithuba asikudzebeseli noma ngidasa sikuthathele phasi lokuthi njalo niyasilalela nifune kwathi ukuthi kwendekani licala lebahlonishwa labakhethwa ngini ukuthi bayonimelela eParliament. Namhla ke njengoba bese ngike ngasho nje kancane nangilapha kaMsunduza njengoba sibuya khona nje manje ukuthi lokwendekile ukuthi emva kokuba li-judge Mamsi Justice Mamsi Dlamini angasiniketanga lesicelo sethu noma angazivuma lesicelo sethu sekuthi bahlonishwa bakhishwe emva kokuba sesilalele bonke ubufakazi bebashushisi. Lokho kube sekuphoqelela ukuthi ke licala lichubekele phambili. Lichubeka kanjani ke? Lichubeka ngokuthi bahlonishwa sale kube ngibo ke manje labathatha stand ba testify bathi defend konke lokulebe kusolokishiwo ubufakazi babo bashushisi. So ke besibhizi ngaloko ke namhla ke lo testify leke lo beqala kube ngiyomhlonishwa abacede mabuza cishe lokuchazela okuningi ikakhulu indzaba yema petitions ukuthi yaqala kanjani uvele nje wayithatha nje vele kusukela eTulu wadlula endzabeni neekushona kwakhe longangabhuti Thabani Ngomonye nalokwendeka ngesikhathi kune memorial service wachaza ukuthi kwendekani lapho wachaza nangema instances where the acting prime minister at the time, who is the current DPM or deputy prime minister, tried to decampaign them banemhlonishwa Simelane nemhlonishwa Dube ukuthi eMaswati angasabavoteli. Wachaza ukuthi kwabe sekwendekani ke enkundleni yakhe emva kuba ke lo Phindlandlu Nkulu sekasho into lefana naleyo. So ubebuthe kakhulu ubufakazi bakhe futhi abukapheli. Lesicabanga ukuthi utawuthatha lonke ilanga la kusasa futhi buphinze mhlambe buphinze buthathe nelanga lelilandzelako langa lesine. So kulamalanga lamathathu lawa ngekubuka kwami ngicabanga ukuthi sitawudila ngobufakazi bakhe umhlonishwa abacede Mabuza. Kodwa ke lokukhulu mhlambe lokuvelile kungaba ngiko lokuthi nje umhlonishwa bekachaza kona ukuthi kulama video bese vele sekalalelwe enkantolo kude la kuvela khona ukuthi ba instigator iviolence even noma bakhombisa kuba diphekula dikhulu noma mhlambe ba instigator ukuthi abantu bazonde Mswati. Akuveli indzawo lapho futhi akuveli indzawo nekuthi kwaba ngibo mhlambe lababangela ukuthi abantu bagcina sebashisa noma gcina sekufa abantu even. Sive sonke ke seMaswati siyadi ukuthi bobani lababulala abantu nebaphathi bahulumende they are on record labasho khona ukuthi emaphoyisa nemasotsha labulala abantu akusibo bahlonishwa kodwa abantu lababulala abantu kwabangiwe emaphoyisa. So ke ngingacishe ngithi kuhambe kanjalo nakusasa sitawuchubeka njengoba sengichazile Khababa.
Mr Mngomedulu kulemye yemibuto lenginayo la lengifisa ukuthi umhlambe uyichazele eMaswati. Mr Mngomedulu vele what will happen next as the trial proceeds? Mhlambe nje ungachazela eMaswati khona la.
Yeah, just briefly kutaba ngokulamalanga lamabili landzelako kutaba ngokwenqedza kusho ukuthi umhlonishwa abacede utawuchubeka nebufakazi bakhe. Bese kuthi ke seliya postponewa ke sitawuphinze sibite umhlonishwa Dube naye afakaze kuyawuthi ke nasebafakazileke bese sekulandzela ke labanye bofakazi labatawuletha nabo ubufakazi lobukhomba ukuthi emalunga eneParliament eMaswati lamahle akasiwe ama-terrorists, they were not seditious, they are not murderers, and babantu nje laba honorable emphakathini labatinikela sibatawuservisa timfuno tesive seMaswati bafela lokho nje kude lokunye. So sitawuba kanjalo nje.
Mr Mgometulu ingabe vele bahlonishwa mhlambe ngikubabuka kwakho nje simo sabo noma ke simo sempilo ingabe bangilanjani kumbe Maswati atawufuna kwathi sibahlonishwa njengoba sathi Mr Mgometulu ukuthi lenzawo laba kuyo bahlonishwa akusiyo indzawo lenhle kubani nakubani neMaswati nje nawe ayatatila ukuthi akusiyo nje indzawo lemnanzi kakhulu so ungachaza leMaswati ngesimo sabo nje sempilo ukuthi ubabuka kanjani baphilile yini.
Siyabonga ngicanga silokhu uhlelo namhla ukuthi nani njengentsatheleni khona le kungena nebafundisi nawe bakhona na president Xolani nabo Guluvu nonke benikhona baphilile bahlonishwa noma basenzaweni lengasimnanzi kodwa nje baphilile bakahle nasemtimbeni. They are in high spirits. They are looking forward to pull up Fakazi Babo to prove their innocence. We believe the law properly applied to the facts, it should only result in one outcome and one outcome only, and that is that they are innocent of the charges that have been leveled against them. And it's a great injustice. Njengoba sesike sasho kaningi. Kodwa ke siyakholelwa ukuthi kutawugcina kulule leMaswati singaphele amandla. Alutha continue.
Lo munye umuntu lenginawo Mr Mgometulu ingabe vele what can you say about the violence and confusions that is prevailing in the country?
Well, you see, you need to understand something, Kuloko Mhlanga. The fact of the matter is that it is the state that introduced violence into the equation. Liqiniso lithi kwaba nguhulumende lo wathatha tibhamu teMaswati, temthelo weMaswati. Wadubula eMaswati lebe protesta afuna inkululeko, bafuna ukukhululeka ekugcinzetelweni ngumbuso waMswati. Njengoba niwathi ke lo mbuso lo is a despotic regime, is an authoritarian regime, it's a regime that doesn't observe the democratic prescripts as we know them. So eMaswati ke bekatfunela lokho. Wesuka uhulumende wahamba wayodubula abantu beMaswati nabangcwaba nonke ngekwati lokho. So now no one has a monopoly over violence. So immediately you introduce violence into the equation, you must expect that it's only a matter of time before violence gets to your own doorstep. Because hulumende nguye loqitse ingadi kuqala. Liqiniso ke lithi ke ndawukhumbula nemaphoyisa ngeke nganibuda kaningi ukuthi ngalesikhathi nihambe nidubula labantu ba protesta peacefully. Ngalesikhathi nihambe ni sayibhasi nifake i-tear gas phakathi ebhasini bese kusilaba abalekayo ngamafastelo beqa niphinze nibadubule nanibheke ukuthi kuyawugcina kwendekene. Ngike nganibuda neniyakhumbula. Kunamhla niyabaleka siva kuthiwa nihlale emicashweni. Nibaleka iswadento tenu lenatenda eMaswatini. So we are not saying singebantu bedlame. I think my clients are on record to say they are non-violent and their struggle is a struggle of non-violence. And it's a struggle that they waged within the chambers of parliament, supported by the constitution or using the constitution. But ke maseniqalile nabulala abantu nanicabanga ukuthi kuyawugcina kwendekeni kahle kahle ngoba ngake nganibuda. So we want to say we sympathize, genuinely so. We empathize with all the families that have lost their loved ones, especially members of the police force. Kubuhlungu ngoba phela bashiye abantwana futhi nabo bane bandla ababathandzako. Kodwa ke lesikushoko sithi kube mane abazange bafaka ludlame entweni lebe ingalidzingi ludlame. Awucabange nje kubekwe kwathiwa nesikhathi eMaswati enda lama petitions. Kube nje kwathiwa all the members of parliament abahambe bayeta inkundleni ba receive ama petitions abuyiselwe eParliament and then asearched. Onke laMaswati lang 100 lafe kulomnyaka lophelile ngaba kafanga. Nangimatsapsa sihleli naye ngabe solotonke inyawo takhe tikhona. But because the government is not prepared to listen to its own people, they chose to kill people. So angathi ke bebacabanga ukuthi awugcine kwendekene. So asikucelebrate lo kwakusijabulisa kusichazi. We want peace, but it must be peace not in one man's terms. We can't have peace in Mswati's terms. We are going to have peace ngendlela lefunwa Maswati onke. Kude kuthi kube nenhlala kahle eveni bakwathi ukukhethela uhulumende lofuna ngibo kube government for and by the people, and that is what democracy is about. As long as you have a situation where you have got a Cleopas as a prime minister who has not been elected by the people, you have got all the ministers of state who have not been elected by the people, I don't know what you are expecting. So the calls that the people are making, they will continue to make those calls because this is an illegitimate government in the sense that it's a government that has not been elected by the people. So sicela ke ukuthi ke akube nebuthula eveni kodwa ke lesikholwa ukuthi kutawuletha kuthula nabi ingonyama leyathi kutawukwendeka ngesikhathi ithi yona itawusina iphuma encwaleni yende i-dialogue kuze kube manje ayikayendi i-dialogue siyeva ngandlebenye kuthiwa ngeke iyende i-dialogue because kunelidlame eveni nguphi lokufika ekucala manga ukuthi kutaba ne-dialogue noma lidlame lokufika ekucala mina ngokunderstanda kwami ukuthi kube nemanga lakhulunyiwe latshelwe eMaswati ukuthi kutaba ne-dialogue yangendeka i-dialogue. Now the levels of desperation have brought us to be where we are, and the fact that eMaswati have been killed, they have been brutalized, there is no iota of justice to redress those things that have happened in the past year. What are you expecting, Tawendagaye? I have said it in my last interview. So many of the things that are happening now, chances are they will continue to happen, not because I say so, but because it is the law of nature that violence is the language of the unheard. If bantu ngakhona ibahlalisa phasi ukhulume nabo balalele usike ucabanga ukuthi awugcina kwendeke. So really sibothi nasikhuta sengihulumende ngoba uhulumende kathanza kamba khutha abantu ngendvo lengekho baphinze batinuke nabe makhwapha.
Mr Mgometulu sike sevalana iminyaka lophelile baholi bemave laSwatini seva bathi more especially nje Tsindzibala akhuluma ngokuthi he will be declaring war to anyone lotawuya esiphofaneni siphinze futhi ke Mr Mgometulu siva ingonyama inkosi uMswati wesithathu iaddressa wona ke emaphoyisa lapha ikhuluma ngespeech sayo lesatsenza kakhulu eMaswati saphinze futhi satsinza na Dr Ntshatseli tangaphandle sitawukhumbula ke sinaye eThabiso Mloyi ka Democratic News sithinzwa ngeDr Ntshatseli tangaphandle tisibuta ngaso speech sengonyama leyasikhuluma lapha khona inkosi uMswati yathi ngale speech sayo lapho khona inkosi uMswati sayiva ukuthi he will face the people eye for an eye. So mhlambe yini lo ngakukhuluma ngaleso speech leso Mgometulu?
Well, the fact of the matter is that bonke labantu lobabalile, they have lost the legitimacy to govern because leaders proper cannot say the things that they have said. Baholi mbamba abakwati ukuthi akube neso akube yiso ngeso FM. You cannot declare war ekubeni nguwe kuphela lophethe spam. Noma ngabe khona labanye labaphethe spam nawe awubati. What are you declaring war on? So Tsindzibala declares war, then we are yobuta mbonga ukuthi ngibani command. Can now he was declaring the war against who? So there's a dearth or there's a shortage of leadership in this country. And this is what has brought us to be where we are. Change is the only constant. Now, so the only way to be part of a change that you cannot change is for you to work with that change, manage the change. That is why there's something called change management. So that handles the change, that manages the change. But if you doubt wena and it will never happen. People will always have the last laugh. So I think the speech that you are referring to, or the speeches that you are referring to, they were quite unfortunate, very unfortunate speeches. I think they should have not been made. Siyacela ukuthi eMaswati angayinaki le ndlu ya eye for an eye. eMaswati ahlobene onke, eMaswati ayathandzana. Akungabi yiso neso eMaswati siyanicela. Khohlwani ngayo le nto beyikhulunywa lapha kumathapha ukuthi it's an eye for an eye. Nani maphoyisa? I-eye for an eye kubani ngoba sihlobene sonke. Namna ngathi ngiyaphuma nje la ungidubule. Mhlambe sekhona umnakethi lomkwatisile. Mhlambe khona siswami lomkwatisile. Utawufuna ukudubula nawo. So the sive sitawuphela sonke sibancane, we are less than 2 million. Why should it be eye for an eye esivele lesincane kangaka? Sicela ke usilembele show ngumswati ya eye for an eye. Yekeleni maphoyisa ningahambi ngayo phumani kuyo. There is no need for an eye for an eye. Bekanikhohlisa yekele nje le yanto leya kude eye for an eye eMaswati kufuna avikelane eMaswati athandzane lokufanele kwendeke ukuthi eMaswati they must sit down and talk and reach a resolution letabafaka enkululekweni from a dictatorship ye monarch, from the despotic rule leyenda ukuthi eMaswati angaphumeleli leyenda ukuthi kube nekuhlupheka nendlala eSwatini. So ngiloko ke lesikhuluma ngako. So sithi ke kumaphoyisa nemasotsha in the New Swaziland unitshelile Gawuzela nayiTola. In the New Swaziland you have a role to play. Sinifuna niphila, sinifuna niphelele to maintain law and order, to guard our borders. Ngiloko lesifuna ukuthi nikwende. Uma ngabe kutaba yiso ngeso ngicabanga ukuthi anifike ngisho ku 15,000 nangenibala cishe nonke. Nifuna kumelana nebantu, there's an adult population of about 1 million in the country. Manicabanga ndawo khona kukwenda lokho kutakwendeka mbaba. Uyanikhohlisa mse. Khohlwani ngalendlela banitshela yona lapha kumathepha bathapha nginivile nikutali bayethe ayikho yonke le yanto leyo. There should not be an eye for an eye in any event. A speech of that nature is anti the constitution, because you cannot instigate eMaswati ukuthi alwe abulalane odwana. You can't do such a thing in such a small country, and then you are going to reign and rule over the same people. We think it's an irresponsible statement. In the same way, nalona lwathi akuphunyelwe eshashalazini langazange sekayekile eshashalazi usakuphumela eshashalazini yena akaye eshashalazi uchazile Maseko wathi akuphunyelwe eshashalazini nakacedza lapho ngeke ngichaze ngendlela achaze ngayo, kodwa uyahamba naye kuma bodyguards akhe. Nine eMaswati, nine emaphoyisa, nimenotho. So siyacela ke sithi akube nekuthula eveni, noma ngabe ngibani lophethe spam lofuna kusibhekisa kulomunye asekume bekunene. Siyacela impela akuphushwe lenzaba ukuthi akuhlale phansi kukhulunyiswane kude kulungiswe nalive labasemajele bakhishwe, laba exile babuye balungise live lapho.
Mr. Mkometulu, mhlambe ke sengigcina la nginembuto nje lenginawo la ukuthi ngikuba ukho Mkometulu, how do you think the crisis in the country can be resolved?
Well, I think I've said some of it already. The Parliament of Swaziland, the MPs, if they understand the role yabo, and I say this with the greatest respect, Baba Hlonishwa, njengoba bitwa kanjalo, kuningi lebe ngabe sebakwendile already to diffuse the situation, because umhlonishwa baqede na Mthandeni na Simelane lebe bafuna kwenda bebafuna ukuthi ku amendwe iconstitution section 67 subsection 1, I think read with subsection 3 ukhulumile ngako baqede namuhla. Lebe tawubangela ukuthi at the time it was just a narrow demand, an elected prime minister ngiloko kuphela bekucela ngaleso sikhathi. Lokho bekutawubangela ukuthi lama changes noma letinguquko la kangwane tendeke peacefully and tendeke in terms of the constitution. Lesikubonile ke khabako ukuthi ngalesikhathi ke bahlonisha bacela ukuthi akwendeke lokho, but itholeke manje sebasejele njengoba basematilongweni njengoba bakhona lapha nje. So umbuto ke uthi uma ngabe the people who were trying to change to bring about the changes in terms of the constitution are incarcerated, so ke ngiyiphi ke manje indlela yokulungisa letinto leti? Mina ngidawuthi it's a political settlement which must be a negotiated settlement between the protagonists of the current regime together with the protagonists of the mass democratic movement. Lesicela sithi nje afike esikhatsini la khona batawu understanda bonke laba busy kulento le ukuthi asekuhlale phansi kukhulunyiswane kuvunyelwane ukuthi live la kangwane kuya phambili litawuholeka kanjani. Lebe singacela ba understand lapha elithini ngilokuthi le live leli selishinje kakhulu. Uma ucabanga ukuthi ungabulala abantu labang 100 bese uzotawuphinze kuchubeke ngebusiness kube ngebusiness as usual, akuyuze kuzekwendeke. Ngangihlangane namaphoyisa khona lamba abantu baphathi bawo bo commissioner lapha ngabatshela ngathi this country will never be the same again. You can't kill 100 weMaswati and expect ukuthi it will be business as usual. We are not going to allow it ukuthi kube business as usual until kube ne justice for eMaswati labulawa anganacala. noma ngabe beke belisaka la shukela akahamba yiso enkantolo. They were not supposed to be killed. So kungakabi naleyo justice leyo kude lesikubhekile sicabanga ukuthi kutawuphinze kulunge. So we want justice for eMaswati labulawa and siyakholelwa ukuthi leyo justice leyo singayithola uma ngabe kutawuba nenkhululeko noma kutawuba ne democratic reform letawubangela ukuthi eMaswati agcine atiphethe wona. So abakwati ke lapha kaDlamini ukuthi mangabe khona leyo phinzi yaphathe abe inkosi akasayoliphatha kanje. Akasayoliphatha ngalendlela ebesolo liphathwe ngayo kusukela nga1986 ngidawubala ngiqale lapho. Akasayophinza aliphathe kanjalo. Because eMaswati sekathi sifuna nathi ukuthi sibe na uhulumende wethu lesikhethele thine lesitambita nangabe soyehluleka nangabe akasasilaleli ngiloko eMaswati la kusho. So siyacela ukuthi akube njalo. But we want to encourage maybe lastly all the political parties la khona currently, they must go and recruit members, because it is only when you recruit members that you are able to spread your message, that you are able to agitate the population, that you are able to also teach people about ukuthi nasikhuluma ngensandvo elinyingi sikhuluma ngisakwendekeni, nasikhuluma ngohulumende lokhethwe abantu sikhuluma ngani. So eMaswati sithi akahamba afune amaform afune tikipa ahambe ajoine ema-party, ngeke ngisho ukuthi yipi joina noma ngabe ngiyiphi i-party loyitholako, bese sicela bosomabhizinisi nakufika ama-members e-party lapha acela ukuthi bacela balontsha i-branch noma bacela ukuthi bathengele ma-food parcels or whatever. Support political parties. It's the future. You can't wish political parties away. They are here with us. They are here to stay. Ngeke uze ukushintshe lokho. Ayaqhubeka yakhiwa itolo bekakhona asaqhubeka yakhiwa namanje. Political parties are the way of the future. It's going to happen in this country and everybody has to understand that. We also want to urge, by the way, the intelligentsia of this country, the academics, the elites of this country. Esikhathini esiningi nilandzela ngasemuva siya understand that you've got positions to protect, but create those think tanks amongst yourselves. Start thinking about how do you want to influence and be a part of this change that is happening in this country, because this change is not only imminent but it's also inevitable. It's an unstoppable tsunami. This one is going to happen. So everyone must start thinking about how do they participate, how do they contribute, how do they make a difference, and all of this must happen peacefully, without violence. But change yona itakwendeka, batsanza bangatsanza. Siyabonga Maswati lamandla.
Just nje umbuto wekugcina it's concerning indzaba yakusasa ukuthi mhlambe kunema comrades from all over Swaziland who wants to come but support. Siyathi off late ukuthi bebangasedi ngendlela bebeta ngayo due to police brutality. Engabe mhlawumbe yini lenda ukuthi igcine kufike la kuthiwa bathi eMaswati angasayi lo mnye mhlawumbe uqala namhla kubona ukuthi akusayeki enkantolo ukuyo support yini lele kwenda ukuthi vele igcine la Maswati angakhona kuyo supporta bahlonishwa ukuthi kusemthethweni lokuthi vele emaphoyisa avimbe babule bato supporta bahlonishwa khona lapha enkantolo.
Well, le maphoyisa asitshela ukuthi what the chief justice bambangela umsindo nabasegedeni. So so ke ngiloko lasitshela kona ukuthi baba ngumsindo nabo Gubevu. So ke ngicabanga ukuthi mina mhlambe kutaba ne court order, because phela ngaphandle kweligedele enkantolo akusikwe enkantolo. So but ke besike sathi ke mhlambe laba khona kufika eMbabane bafika eMbabane ba protest sibuya ku address akaMsunduzi. Akunanzaba lokho kuphi sitawuhamba Mloyi siyokhuluma neMaswati. La bangakakhona ikufika banga protesta laba protesta khona ngoba eMaswati besikhuluma nangimasewe siphuma lapha kaMsunduzi nga4 or past 4 bantu bagcwele young able bodied men lokufaya singabe bayasebenza bekho emisebenzini. So they should protest wherever they are eMaswati peacefully. Peaceful protests, I must emphasize. No violence, no looting, none of those things, and no stoning of cars. But they should continue to do that because bafuna kubonakalisa ukuthi bavelana nathi bavelana nebahlonishwa kuloko lababhekene nabo. So particularly kwakusasa ke ngicela ukuconfirma nabo kusasa nothing is going to happen. Ma students akabile esikolweni njengenjwayelo bahambe bayobhala ama exams. They must prepare tonight nebotishela babili esikolweni, there's nothing that's going to happen. It's going to be peaceful. I can guarantee you, I can put my head on the block. Nothing is going to happen. Bantu abaqhubeke baphile impilo tabo as usual. Because sesiwugudile lo moya, ababiyele baphile njengalokujwayelekile. Siyabonga.
Maswati lamahle, eceleni kwakhe ke ummeli Mr Mngomedulu, nguye ke umfundisi lokhona la. Mfundisi nawe eMaswati akulalele, ncusela eMaswati kuNkulunkulu mfundisi, uwancusele kuNkulunkulu mfundisi ukuthi kulesimo lesikhona even nato inkinga bahlonishwa labahlangabezana nato, ubancusele nabo ke kuNkulunkulu mfundisi.
Amen. Asithandaze eMaswati akithi, sibeke tonke inkinga lesibhekene nato even sitiphakamisele kuNkulunkulu. Lekungena lusito lethu liyawuvela kuye. Asithandaze. Babe wethu losezulwini, wena Nkosi lolawula phasi emhlabeni, wena Nkosi lohlele esihlalweni sakho sebukhosi, ulibona live nakangwane kucitheka ingadi. Sikuletha konke uNkulunkulu wethu embusweni wakho, sikuletha kuwe uNkulunkulu wethu ngoba thina side emandla ekutikhulula kulamandla lasiphethe kulelive, kepha sethembe emandla akho uNkulunkulu wethu. Kude lomunye lesingakhala kuye, sikhala kuwe njengababe wethu. uNkulunkulu wethu sicela kubeka nebahlonishwa bethu labasetilongweni, labasejele, lababekwe licala libangaladi. Kwangathi wena Nkosi ungabahambela ubaphe emandla uNkulunkulu wethu, kuthi noma simo singavumi kepha tinhlitiyo tabo nemoya wabo usolo ulangazelela kuthi ngalelinye ilanga nabo bayawuphuma etilongweni. Sithandza Nkosi kubeka nale legal team lesebenta le case yabo, kwangathi nabo Nkosi umoya wakho, igrace yakho nayo beyingahlala kubo, ubavule tingcondo tabo Nkosi, kuthi lokho lokuplanwa state Nkosi kungaphumeleli. Sithandza kubeka nelive lethu lakangwane Nkosi, kwangathi wena uNkulunkulu wethu bowungalihambela noma sikuthandazela kuthula, kepha kuthula angeke kuze kude ngemthandazo. Kuthula kuyawuda ngekuthi kune justice emhlabeni wakho, kuthula kuyawuda ngekuthi there is righteousness kulabo labaphethe live. uNkulunkulu wethu hambela tinhlitiyo tabo Faro labasiphethe kulelive. Wena Nkosi kwangathi bowungabenda tinhlitiyo tabo tati ukuthi baphethe abantu abakaphathi ematshe, ufanele sibasiphathe ngendlela yakho uNkulunkulu wethu. Sicela konke lokhu Nkosi, sethembe ligama lelingetulu kwawo onke emagama, ngegama leNkosi yethu Jesu Kristu. Amen.
Amen. Baswati lamahle, bihleli naye ke sicela umhlanga. Hamba naye ke Thabiso Mloyi, Swaziland Democratic News. Nibe nelisuku loluhle Baswati lamahle.